Let's talk about thick skin. Why authors need thick skin. A key to thriving in the literary world and everywhere else. If you're going to be out there, if you're going to write books, if you're going to be on social media, you can't be very sensitive about things because haters going to hate, and it is what it is. And you're going to have to be able to moderate that stuff. Like if somebody says, "You're a stupid idiot," you need to delete that comment and decide how bad it was. Do you just need to delete it, or do you need to delete it and also ban that person from your stuff? Because that's really the defense when you're talking about social media. You have to keep these guys need to stay in their own sphere and keep their negativity to themselves. But we're going to talk about why you need thick skin, specifically related to authors, but it relates to everybody else too. So the first thing I want to say is that writing a book is a deeply personal endeavor. An author pours their heart, soul, and countless hours into crafting characters, weaving plots, and perfecting prose. When the work is finally shared with the world, it feels like a vulnerable act, exposing one's creativity and thoughts for public consumption. Yet, every writer who publishes eventually realizes that not everyone will love or even appreciate their work. And this is with every form. Not everyone's going to love or appreciate what you do or even find it useful. And that's fine. They're entitled to their opinions. But you also need to have thick skin because sometimes these guys like to share their negative opinions in a harmful way. And that's not good. It's not productive. So my first point is that regardless of what you do, whether you write, you draw, you make music, you post to social media, you make random YouTube videos, whatever, criticism is inevitable. It's unfortunate, but it is inevitable. And, we like to say, constructive criticism is good. Yeah, but not all criticism is constructive. Sometimes all they're trying to do is tear you down. And you need to be aware of that. So whether it's from literary critics, reviewers, casual readers, anybody like that, every author will face some type of criticism. No book is universally loved, and for every glowing review, there may be a harsh critique. And thick skin allows writers to endure these critical voices without letting them stifle their creativity or self-esteem. This is very important because, you always hear the importance of a smile. How, one smile can change a person's day. Well, how many smiles does it take to remove somebody's terrible critique? What is that? Maybe I should look that up right now. So depending on what you research online, it can take 7 positives to 1 negative to undo that negative feedback. And this was just something that I randomly pulled up on, a search engine. I said, how much praise does it take to remove 1 critical review? How much praise? And depending on what you read, it could take as much as 7, or, maybe it takes 4 positive comments to remove that 1 negative criticism. And that's unfortunate. I wish it was the opposite, that it takes 1 positive statement to remove 4 or 7 critical responses. So what do you do when you run into that negative person that says, I hate what you do, I hate how you look, I hate how you approach things? They hate you, and they don't even know you, but whatever, So here's the deal. Instead of seeing criticism as a personal attack, resilient authors and everyone else who really has a good set of thick skin on them can view it as part of the growth process. Constructive feedback can improve future work, while baseless negativity can be brushed off. So this is what we want to say. We want to say constructive criticism is good. If somebody's got an idea like, hey man, I noticed you do this. Could, maybe you want to try it up, this way. And they give you an idea to try instead of just being hate, hate, hate. They say, you know what? I don't like this thing. But what I see is that maybe you could do this or that or something else, and maybe that would work better. That's constructive critiquing. And everyone should listen to that. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you take it to heart? But somebody who's just like, I hate, they're not somebody you should listen to. So, in a world where online reviews and social media make it easy for readers to express opinions, sometimes very harsh ones, developing the ability to separate helpful critique from noise is critical to your success. It's critical to your success and to your sanity. Let me not forget that. Being able to differentiate is critical to your success and your sanity and your self-esteem. It's very important. Number 2, rejection is part of the journey. So before an author even reaches the stage of public reviews, there's the formidable hurdle of rejection, right? If you're submitting to agents and publishers, you're going to get rejection. And every rejection is going to be like they're personally hating on you. And that's not true. They just don't want your work, and you have to respect that. But, it could be agents, publishers, literary magazines. Even the most celebrated authors have faced multiple rejections early in their careers. And it is what it is. And the sting of rejection can easily discourage new writers. I was personally rejected 350 times. I finally self-published. Enough is enough. But a rejection can make an author think that they're not worthy, they're not good enough, they're not this, they're not that. Everybody hates them. That's not true. It's not really a personal attack, especially if you're submitting to someone who gets thousands and thousands and thousands of these query letters a year. It's really not a personal attack, but it can feel like it. So you have to be thick-skinned. And thick-skinned authors understand the need for resilience in the face of setbacks. Whether a book doesn't sell as well as hoped, which I can attest to that one, none of my stuff sells as well as I would hope, or a much anticipated project doesn't get the reception that you imagined. Like my horror of the Tazumari Greed statue, it's not doing as well as I had hoped. But I'm still going to finish it, and that's a form of rejection. When something doesn't do as well as you hoped it would. That's a form of rejection. But when you're thick-skinned, when you know where you're going and where you want to end up, you're going to keep doing that thing. You're going to keep writing because your passion for storytelling outweighs the temporary challenges of being rejected and all these setbacks in this. Now, number 3, writing is a marathon. You should look at it as a marathon more instead of a sprint. Like I've said in some previous videos, I started full-time publishing in 2018. I've been writing for a lot longer than that. And prior to 2018, I did 3.5 years of submissions and stuff like that. So, really, I've been doing this full-time since 2014. So at this point, we're talking almost 10 years. Almost 10 years of this. And I'm just now trying to get a YouTube channel started and videos and stuff like that. And this is why it's a marathon and not a sprint, because I started off, solely as a writer of text. No videos, no audio, just text. And then I started publishing my own books. So I had to do the text and the formatting and the cover design, and I did years of that. And then I got into audiobooks, and now I do audiobooks. And now I'm getting into video. Now I'm doing videos. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you will add to what you do as you go along. So if you're in it for the long game, when you start, you're in it for the long game. Overnight success is rare, and most authors build their careers slowly over time. Along this journey, they will experience highs and lows, moments of triumph when a book is well received, and moments of disappointment when a story just doesn't resonate as expected. And it is both. I have books that do well. I have books that don't do so well. And if you're thick-skinned, you understand this stuff that happens. You understand this ebb and flow of how things go. Number 4, persevering with your creative freedom. It's going to feel a lot like a sledgehammer on a brick wall. You're just pounding away at that brick wall, pounding away at that brick wall. And there may be another brick wall behind it. But you have to persevere. You have to get through. You have to believe that one day you're going to be successful. One day it's all going to work out. One day you'll get everything you've been working so hard for. And, it's that hope that keeps authors going. And I'm known for my rants. I rant a lot on what's going on, what's happening, what's not happening, what I don't like, especially what I don't like. And occasionally I'll tell you what I do like. And it's hard in some situations to think about the positives that are going on. I will say this. The channel is getting more attention because I have more haters. That's one way to gauge success. I must be doing a good job because haters are starting to notice me. Yes. And sometimes you just have to laugh and you have to address it via an informative video and an informative article. This video is also going to be an article on my website because it's important. Some authors really, really, really get their feelings hurt, and I've had conversation with these writers, and they're so upset. They got a negative review, and it's crushed their world. And sometimes I'm the person that's standing right back there, with the hand out, going, "Come on, buddy, you can do it. You can do it. Let's get up. Let's try again." Haters gonna hate. So, I've been there and I've done it, and good times, bad times. I'm not going through a real good time right now, but I still have my very thick skin that I have cultivated over the years, and I want to share that with you. So number 5, handling the pressure of public opinion. So a lot of social media is truncated. They don't show your shit, and you don't get a lot of public opinion, but every once in a while you'll come across a platform that hasn't done that yet. And you'll get some really nasty public opinion. But that also means that you're being seen. So, in the author's realm, what it means is once a book is out in the world, the author loses control over how it will be interpreted, discussed, or even, how it's judged. The pressure of public opinion, especially in the age of social media, can be overwhelming. Authors may feel the need to respond to critics or explain their creative choices. I try not to do that anymore. The book is what it is. My opinion is what it is. If you want to have a discussion on it, that's great. Do I want to justify myself? Not particularly. Everybody falls victim to that at one time or another. Even seasoned, social media professionals will fall victim to believing that they need to answer some of this stuff. And I just saw it the other day on a YouTuber's channel. He's really being harassed really bad by, believe it or not, another YouTuber, and then his following. And this happens a lot. And I'd like to say that, I've never been the person that was attacked like that. I'd like to say that I was never a follower that was roped in like that. But I have been, and it's, once you realize what you're doing, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm criticizing this person based off what this other person said, and I don't have all the facts, and this person might be innocent and this person might be guilty. It might be exactly the opposite of the way I believe it. And at that point you have to take a step back and breathe, because it's easy to get caught up in that mob mentality, and you don't want to do it. Don't get caught up in the mob mentality. And I'm seeing it a lot right now. And I think it's because so much is going on. People they feel like they don't have any control, so they're lashing out. And it is what it is. So, it's just authors and everyone else need to have thick skin and recognize that every criticism does not require a response. And you must resist the temptation to endlessly explain or defend your work or what you're doing. Trust that what you're doing is all right and that you will find your audience, and that everything will speak for itself and you will find your people. That is what it is. Number 6, sustaining a long-term writing career requires thick skin. So a long-lasting writing career, if you want to be a social media influencer and stuff like that, you must have thick skin, because you're going to come across people who disagree with you, and disagreeing is fine. I'm always a big fan of freedom of speech and having a healthy conversation, although that really seems difficult these days. Some of my good friends on some topics, we just can't talk about it anymore because it's so polarized. And that's sad. I remember in school we used to be able to talk about and discuss almost anything and everything, because we were trying to learn and evaluate and develop our critical thinking skills. It's when you get out of that, it's kind of different. But a long-lasting career as a writer, or anyone in the creative field, or anyone on social media, requires emotional stamina. Authors will likely face periods of self-doubt, dry spells in creativity, and even public backlash. So without thick skin, these challenges can become overwhelming and may lead some writers to quitting prematurely. And I've seen social media people quit. They're right there. They're getting ready to take off, and somehow the backlash gets them, and it gets in their head, and they just quit and they give up. That sucks when that happens. Thick skin allows authors to focus on their long-term goals, and it helps them persist through tough times, continually honing their craft and evolving as a writer and a social media influencer and this, that, and the other. Your passion for storytelling and stuff like creative endeavors is lifelong. Just because you get a bunch of haters doesn't mean that goes away in you. Maybe you end up doing it privately, but it's nice to share that with the world. The world needs more art. The world needs more books. And, my final point here is that thick skin fosters creative freedom and longevity. So thick skin doesn't mean being different to feedback or impervious to criticism. It's about developing the resilience to shine in a world where every piece of art is open to judgment. For authors, this emotional armor is essential for maintaining creative freedom, handling rejection, and sustaining a long and fulfilling career. By cultivating thick skin, authors can free themselves from the weight of all this negativity and hatred. The focus needs to be on the storytelling, and persevering. I always say, in some of my articles I've said writing a book is like crawling up a mountain with spikes and rocks and hot lava, and it's just a difficult thing in the world, and you'll finally get to the top and you got these stinking haters. Oh my goodness. But, perseverance and thick skin will take you a long way through the process. All right, and that is my video for this afternoon. I get to, I need to work some more on my Kindle Vella. So remember to like and subscribe if you are so motivated. If you're not, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.